The combat arena of Station Helios 9 had witnessed thousands of duels across 3 decades, but none would become as legendary as the 30-second encounter between Honey and the Crythian champion Zarthok. The station, a massive orbital construct orbiting the gas giant Prometheus 7, served as a neutral meeting ground for 73 different species across the galactic coalition. Its fighting pits, originally designed for dispute resolution, had evolved into entertainment venues where warriors tested their mettle against opponents from across the stars. Harry Chen watched from the observation deck as his partner Honey stretched in the preparation chamber below. The artificial gravity generators hummed at Earth Standard 1G, a concession the station administrators had made after humanity joined the coalition 15 years prior. Harry's fingers drummed nervously against the transparent aluminum viewport, creating a rhythmic pattern that matched his accelerating heartbeat. "She doesn't have to do this," muttered Velknox, a Centaurian diplomat whose translucent skin pulsed with concerned amber hues. "Zarthok has killed 17 opponents in sanctioned combat. The Crythians don't understand restraint." Harry didn't respond immediately. He'd known Honey for 8 years, since they'd both served aboard the UNSS Endeavour during the first contact missions. She stood at 5'6", her frame deceptively compact beneath the standard-issue combat suit. Her dark hair was pulled into a practical bun, and her brown eyes carried that particular calm that came from someone who'd survived situations where panic meant death. "She knows exactly what she's doing," Harry finally said. The incident had begun 48 hours earlier in the station's diplomatic quarter. Zarthok, standing nearly 9 feet tall with chitinous plating covering his muscular frame, had been boasting about Crythian superiority in the Coalition Assembly Hall. The Crythians had joined the Coalition 8 months before humanity, and Zarthok had made it his personal mission to demonstrate that his species occupied a higher tier in the galactic hierarchy. "Your species is soft," Zarthok had declared, his mandibles clicking with disdain as he addressed the human delegation. "You lack natural armor, natural weapons, adequate density of fast-twitch muscle fibers. You are biologically inferior, suitable only for computational tasks and maintenance labor." Most of the human diplomats had ignored the provocation. They'd encountered similar attitudes before. The galaxy was full of species convinced that their particular evolutionary path was objectively superior. But Honey, attending as a security consultant, had set down her data pad and looked up at the towering alien. "That's an interesting hypothesis," she'd said, her voice level and professional. "Would you be willing to test it empirically?" The Crythian sensory stalks had swiveled toward her. "Clarify your meaning, human." "A duel. You against me. Standard coalition rules, non-lethal compliance settings on the arena's safety fields." Zarthok's rumbling laugh had echoed through the chamber. "You wish to be humiliated publicly. Very well, I shall accommodate this request." Now standing in the preparation chamber, Honey ran through her final checks. The combat suit was minimal, reinforced gloves, basic torso protection, nothing that would significantly impede movement. The arena's energy barrier would prevent lethal damage, automatically teleporting a fighter to the medical bay if their vital signs approached critical thresholds. It was a mercy Zarthok clearly didn't expect to need. Harry descended to the preparation level, his magnetic boots clicking against the metal deck plating. "Mission parameters?" he asked, falling into their old military shorthand. Honey smiled slightly. "Demonstrate the tactical disadvantages of overconfidence. Secondary objective, shut him up. Probability of success. Acceptable." The arena floor was a circular platform 50 meters in diameter, surrounded by tiered seating that currently held approximately 3,000 spectators. News feeds would carry the fight to millions more across Coalition space. Harry took his position in Honey's corner, nodding that Zarthok had no second, a deliberate display of contempt. The Crythian entered from the opposite side, his footfalls creating small tremors in the deck. His exoskeleton gleamed under the arena lights, natural armor that had evolved over millions of years on a high-gravity world. His forearms flexed, each ending in taloned appendages capable of crushing steel. Biological analysis classified Crythians as apex predators with reaction times 40% faster than baseline humans and bone density 3 times greater. The arena's AI referee materialized as a holographic projection above the combat zone. Combatants, acknowledge rules of engagement. Acknowledged, Honey said calmly. I acknowledge, Zarthak rumbled, though they will hardly matter. Combat begins in 10 seconds. 9, 8. Harry watched Honey settle into a loose, balanced stance, weight on the balls of her feet, hands relaxed at her sides. She wasn't even looking at her opponent. Instead, her gaze swept the arena's geometry, calculating angles and distances. 3, 2, 1, begin. Zarthak charged immediately, his forearms spread wide to intercept any evasive maneuver. His strategy was obvious. Use superior reach and mass to corner Honey against the arena's edge, then overwhelm her with rapid strikes. It was a technique that had worked in his previous 17 victories. Honey didn't retreat. Instead, she stepped forward and slightly to the left, moving into Zarthak's approach vector rather than away from it. The move violated the Crythians' tactical expectations. Prey fled. They didn't advance. What happened next occurred in 1.3 seconds, though detailed analysis from multiple camera angles would later break it into discrete phases. Phase 1. Honey's lead foot planted exactly 47 centimeters inside Zarthak's optimal strike range, a distance his combat instincts recognized as too close for his longer arms to generate maximum force. Phase 2. Her right hand, which had appeared relaxed, suddenly snapped forward in a perfectly executed palm heel strike. The target wasn't Zarthak's armored thorax or reinforced skull. Instead, Honey's strike connected precisely with the Crythian's center sensory stalk, a delicate organ that extended from between his eyes, used for electromagnetic field detection. The sensory stalk wasn't armored. Evolution had never pressured the Crythians to protect it, because predators on their homeworld attacked from the sides or below, never directly forward through their defensive arms. Phase 3. The impact transmitted approximately 450 newtons of force directly into Zarthak's neurological processing center. The sensory stalk's nerve cluster connected directly to the Crythian's cerebral cortex, and sudden trauma to this organ triggered an involuntary full-body paralysis response, an evolutionary adaptation designed to prevent damaged sensory equipment from sending corrupted data during healing. Zarthak's massive body locked mid-stride. His momentum carried him forward another meter before he collapsed, all 4 arms rigid, his mandibles frozen open in an expression of complete shock. The arena fell absolutely silent. Honey stepped back, lowering her hand. She looked at the holographic referee. Combat concluded. My opponent is incapacitated but unharmed. Recommend medical scan to confirm. The AI referee's sensors swept Zarthak's prostrate form. Confirmed. Combatant Zarthak is experiencing temporary neurological paralysis. No permanent damage detected. Recovery time estimated at 4 to 6 minutes. Victor, combatant Honey of Earth. The silence shattered into a cacophony of voices, shocked exclamations in dozens of languages, the clicking and whistling and humming of alien species trying to process what they'd just witnessed. On the observation feeds, xenobiologists were already pulling up anatomical databases, trying to understand how a human had possessed such precise knowledge of Crythian neurology. Harry grinned despite himself. This was so typically Honey. She'd spent the 48 hours between accepting the challenge and the fight conducting intensive research on Crythian anatomy, physiology, and documented combat patterns. She'd found the vulnerability and executed the perfect strike with surgical precision. Zarthak began to recover, his paralysis fading. His sensory stalk throbbed with a deep, resonating pain that he'd never experienced before. He struggled to his feet, his movements uncoordinated, his confidence shattered along with his reputation. Honey approached him carefully. "Your species is physically impressive," she said, "but you made a fundamental error in your assessment of humanity." Zarthok's translator picked up her words, broadcasting them across the arena. What error?" he managed. "You assume that biological advantages automatically translate to combat superiority, but warfare, real warfare, isn't about who has the strongest armor or the fastest reflexes. It's about information, adaptation, and exploiting your opponent's assumptions." She paused. "You announced your intention to fight me 48 hours in advance. That gave me time to study you, to find your weaknesses, to develop a strategy. You were so confident in your physical superiority that you never considered I might actually prepare for this encounter." She extended her hand, not in threat, but in the human gesture of respect between warriors. "You're strong, Zarthok, but strength without wisdom is just potential energy waiting to be redirected." The Crithian stared at her offered hand for a long moment. Around the arena, thousands of spectators watched this moment, understanding that something significant was occurring. Slowly, carefully, Zarthok reached out with one of his four hands and grasped Honey's in the approximation of a human handshake. "I have been instructed," he said, his translator conveying a tone of grudging respect. "Perhaps there is more to your species than I understood." Later in the station's human quarter, Harry bought Honey a drink at the observation lounge. Through the massive viewport, Prometheus 7 rotated slowly, its storm systems creating hypnotic patterns in shades of amber and crimson. "You know this is going to change things," Harry said. "The footage is already spreading across coalition networks. Some species are going to see this as proof that humans punch above their weight class." Honey sipped her whiskey, savoring the burn. "Good. Maybe it'll make the next Zarthok think twice before assuming we're easy targets." She set down her glass. "We're not the strongest species in the galaxy, Harry. We're not the fastest or the most armored or the longest lived, but we're adaptable. We learn. We analyze. We find the solution that others miss because they're too focused on brute force." "Humanity? Fuck yeah," Harry said with a grin, invoking the old phrase that had become a rallying cry among human explorers and diplomats. Honey laughed. "Something like that, though I prefer humanity thoughtfully and precisely, yeah." 3 months later, Zarthok requested assignment to a joint human-Crithian security detail aboard a Coalition exploration vessel. When asked why, his response entered Coalition folklore. "I wish to learn from these humans. They are small, yes. Soft, yes. But they fight with their minds as much as their bodies. This makes them dangerous in ways I had not imagined." The duel lasted 30 seconds. Its impact would resonate across the galaxy for generations, a reminder that underestimating humanity was a mistake no species made twice.